want to talk about Robyn last night on Watch What Happens Live because I feel like it was a total show, right? Robyn failed again. Robyn failed again. Like, Robyn, you didn't tell us anything more than the bloggers all week had already told us. We knew it all. Or we heard it all before, Robyn. But my question is, Robyn, why aren't you, after all these years, why can't you tell a story? I mean, Robyn, you are an NBA wife. I know you've heard better stories than the one that you told because that was some straight up bullshit. Like, that made no sense. None at all. Juan was bored during the pandemic and he started DMing somebody. This girl came from Canada. Canada's borders were strict restrictions to come in. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Why are you okay with your man feeling sorry for another woman and going to pay on her hotel? And why wasn't the hotel already paid in full? Was this like a motel or by the hour hotel? Because I thought you just had to pay in full once you get there. Like, we need a card on file for incidentals. And it's just BS. And it just shows that Robyn and Giselle are not creative. And they're not good storytellers. Again, like, Robyn from Jump said it was complicated with Juan. She should have ran with that. Just like Dolores and Frank on Real Housewives of New Jersey. They've been divorced for years and were roommates and living separate lives. Dolores was dating, Frank was dating, the kids knew about it, and everybody was happy. And even Frank is a player on the show. Although I think the real deal about a lot of this is Juan had no interest on being on TV. He didn't want to be on TV. And it was apparent. Like, I know everybody's like, he don't like her. Ron, he just don't like her. And I know that hot mic moment. And this is what sealed the deal for me. Because I really want to talk about Andy Cohen playing in our faces. Because, Andy always plays this fake outrage game with the housewives who seem to be withholding their stories. But guess what? Andy, I know production has told you what's really going on these sets, if you will, when they're shooting scenes. And I know that Juan had that hot mic moment when he said, if it wasn't for the kids, I wouldn't be here today. So miss me with the outrage, Andy. Are you going to fire her or not? Because these interviews, like that interview, that 30-minute interview, was unnecessary because we'd already heard it. Unless you don't have your ears to the streets, to YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, maybe you hadn't heard it, but we'd all heard it before. Everybody who was tuning in had already heard that story. And I just think that Robyn could have very well just said to Andy, I didn't want to share this because we'd already worked through that and I was concerned about my children. I didn't want this to get out of hand. I'm trying to create a safe space, environment for my children to grow up to be healthy men. I didn't want that for them. So I didn't want to drag it out. But where Robyn kind of missed me was when she said originally on the podcast that she expected one of the other housewives to bring it up. But, when Karen said, he's seeing somebody who looks like Karen, that was hilarious. Like, that was TV gold when Karen said that because, it's the gift, it's the meme that's going to keep on giving in the future, I think. Like, Karen won, but Robyn, you could have just said it was complicated and we're not getting married and done and just moved on to something else. You could have moved on to flipping another house. But to make the excuse that that Juan was bored during the pandemic and like that's okay, he was bored. Guess what? We were all bored, right? When I was bored during the pandemic, what I did, I went out and I shop for people. I was like grocery shopping for people because I was so bored. Or, I picked up a paintbrush and started painting. Mind you, I already paint. But, there are things to do. He could have been outside tossing the ball with Carter, doing those drills like y'all did in those scenes with Carter. Y'all could have been exercising together. But he was bored. So, he was, contacting some girl on Instagram and As we know, he gave his credit card at the hotel, blah, blah, blah. She was supposed to be seeing some Ravens player. You sound dumb. And Sir Antoine, what's his name? You sound so dumb, Robyn. And just not a good look for you. And I think you have messed up by letting Giselle guide you. And obviously, Giselle has something over you. She's keeping you on the show, obviously, because apparently she has this EP credit, which we know is just a vanity title because Giselle's not funding this show. It's probably just part of her negotiations. Give me EP credit. It's been done before. We've seen it done before on other shows and on movies. People get EP credits giving up other things because to say you're an executive producer can can advance you further in the game of entertainment. So anyhow, but Robyn, it's just not a good look. But on another note, I did like that Ebony K. Williams was on the show with her. Not necessarily defending her, but I realized that Ebony should probably be on Real Housewives of Potomac. Yes, I know she's based in New York, but her story could be, oh, I'm coming down to help out some political campaign, or I'm a correspondent for this news, and she and Wendy could be like going head to head or doing whatever. But I think Ebony would be a good addition to the show. She's a little bit more poised than the ladies on Potomac, but I think she will work. Now, Ebony, we don't want you bringing that Black Shabbat stuff or all these history lessons. We don't need that. Just come on and be who you are. Don't come on trying to teach people. But, I mean, she thinks she's a teacher anyhow. But I actually think she'd be a good addition. What I don't think is... I don't know if I think that Robyn should be fired. For some reason, I've been rooting for Robyn. I said Robert, like everybody's been calling her Robert the Builder. Robyn for several seasons for some reason. And I know this season it got really sticky because everybody's calling her colorist and calling, Robyn and Giselle, the Green Eyed Bandits, are colorists. I don't even want to get on that subject because I have a totally different opinion on that. But yeah, so drop into the comments and tell me your thoughts. Like and subscribe.